Good evening, everyone. I'm getting ready to start letting you in. I'm trying to see. Hello, hello. Look at all these people popping on up. Hey, Queen. Haven't seen you in a long time.
Hello, hello, how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great.
Awesome, awesome. I was like, I had to write a note. I stuck it on my computer instead of trying to remember it. I said, because I'm going to go on my computer, I'm going to remember I got to go in here today. Okay,
Well, let me try and get myself together here.
take love you to everyone. Peace and
Good
blessings.
afternoon. Peace and blessings to everyone.
There's Kelvin. There's our host in the house, in the house.
Who.
I see our firefighter is here, but your picture's not showing.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I can't see you.
Okay, I don't see my,
You should have a little camera there. Turn your camera on.
yeah, that's easy for you to say. So now I gotta search for it.
And I'm looking fuzzy. I'm on a different computer. You know how it go when you trying to do something. You know exactly how it goes. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the instructions in the chat room. Of course, we're going to welcome you and we're going to wait for other people to come. Other people are coming in. And I'm going to put the instructions in the chat room for this evening. We had quite a few people registering today. We had more just the last few minutes, but you know that's how people do. They wait for the last minute. Here they come. You never know what's going to happen, but I think it's going to be a really good session, Calvin. I think it really is.
What a way to end my beautiful Thursday, right?
That's right. That's right. You've been out there running all over Chicago, and here you are. Here you are.
Yeah, it was a fun adventure day, I'm sure for all of us. Someone said we're supposed to get snow tonight, and I'm like, I don't
Well,
want
you know, I won't be out there, so I feel for you all, but it won't be affecting me.
good.
Mm-mm.
Okay, Sonia, my, information for my pictures, such as my name and places, not showing up on here. I've gone to 3 pages. I don't see it yet, so.
You got a little camera. Let me see if I can turn your camera on.
All
Okay.
right. Yep.
Give me a couple of seconds.
Sure. Take your time.
Okay. We got to 8 o'clock. We could do
Okay.
this. So we're just waiting for other people to join us. Welcome to Ask an Expert. We got some good people coming in here this evening. Just hold a minute. We got more people coming in. I'm going to let you in in a couple of moments. You know how you say you're going to prepare early. Why is it that we don't do that? I want to know the reason behind that. Or is it me?
Get in line. That's all I can tell you.
Or is it me?
Mm.
I'm always running somewhere. Here I go. Here I go. I'm supposed to do like 20 things before this. But what I did was order Chinese food and sit down and ate when I was supposed to be doing some other things.
Well, that don't work too good for me because if I don't pay attention, I go to sleep and you won't see me till tomorrow sometime.
Well,
Yeah.
we're gonna try and work all this out. Let me let some more people in.
Hey, while you're doing it, Sonia, I got to say this quote to you by a writer by the name of Judy Tenuta.
Please.
It says, my parents told me I never amount to anything because I procrastinated too much. I told them, just you wait.
Makes sense to me. That's a good one.
That was really great. What it
Now,
goes
I
with
put some information in the chat room. You're
what?
welcome. Who our experts are this evening. And I want you, those of you who are here, to start putting your information in the chat room. We are here to connect as well. We have some more people coming in. It's right on 6 o'clock. So they're coming on time. See, they acting right. They acting right. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm looking for my other two experts to come in.
Now, there's a note on here. Your video is stopped. So I'm not sure what that's all about, but
I see Sonia.
once I turn the page, I see her and I see the group, but I just don't see my info.
Yeah.
So just in case we can't get my picture back, I'm just as handsome as I ever was, and I'll be here. I'll be here.
We're
As
gonna
long
have
as
to
you can
trust
hear
that.
me, we're good.
And we'll be able to hear you.
Okay,
So
well,
that's
that's good.
good.
That's great. That's great.
And by that time, you may have figured it out before 8. You may figure it out before 8.
I don't know.
I did try and turn your camera on, but it did not work for me, Mr. Walcott. So I'm not sure. It's on your side. You really need your son over there right now, don't you?
I need somebody that know a little bit more about it than I do. I've done Zoom a few times. Normally, I don't have a problem with, with anything. But we're gonna grin and bear it today.
That's okay. We all good. We all good. You know, got more people. Let's let them in because we want to connect with as many people. Siobhan in the house, Calvin. She showed up, didn't she?
All right.
All right. Siobhan's in the house.
What's up? What's up?
Hey, you up. The EA family in the house. I put for the ones who are coming in now, more people coming in. Put some instructions in the chat room. Please leave us your information as well. We want you to connect, and hopefully, you're here to learn and listen with us, and take some notes, and be sure to ask some questions. We're here to learn today. Okay, we're right at 6:03. We're going to give people a little bit more time. 26 people so far. We got 26 people, so we're going to have a great call. Let me let some more people in. Sounds great. I'm so excited. Aren't you excited, people?
Yes.
Yes, we excited.
Absolutely.
We know we excited. They coming in.
Oh, this is a nice turnout.
Now I see our other expert is here. Hello, Miss Washington. How are you? I can't see you, but
I'm well. I'm well. Hopefully everyone else is.
Yeah, Sandra shows up on my screen. I don't know why you can't see her.
I see her now.
Okay, well,
I see her now. Yeah, I'll put the gallery view on, and let's see. Okay, got some more people coming in. We're just at 6:04. We're gonna give them a couple of more minutes.
All right, I'm gonna step away for a second. Be right back.
Okay, I'm looking for our other expert. Let me see. I don't see Troy on the list as yet.
Troy is here.
Yeah, Troy's here.
Yeah, big happy smile. Troy is here. We've got Sandra. We've got.
You see Troy? I don't see.
You may have to change your view to gallery view and expand how many you can see.
Oh, there you are. Good evening.
I have everybody
see
showing on one screen on my end.
I got you.
I was on time.
Well, good. I like them. I like on time people. I'm usually on time, people, 90% of the time.
All right, I'm back.
You back.
I am
Work
back.
over there with that picture, Mr. Walcott. We want to
You
see
don't want,
you.
I don't think you want me to screw this up. I know.
Oh, you be okay.
I'm not. I'm not really sure what to do to get this picture up, honestly. So
And I'm not sure if I'm qualified to talk you through it. Um,
Yeah, at the
listen,
bottom there
You
of your
put your
screen.
cursor over your image, hit the 3 dots. When you hit the 3 dots, you'll see an option
yeah.
that says edit profile picture. Have you tried that yet?
Let's see. Hold on. I hit the 3 dots. Your picture showed up. There are pictures. There's a zoom in the background. Is that what you're speaking of?
You have to put the cursor over your actual video screen on Zoom as you're looking at it right now. And you'll see 3 dots. It's a blue square, and there'll be 3 dots when you put your cursor over your name.
The 3 dots I see are in the upper right-hand corner.
Yes.
And tab, delete browsing, bookmarks, recent share, find page, add to home screen.
he's
No, I
over
don't.
there. He's over there in something else. That's what he is.
I don't see anything that.
Well, right at
like,
the bottom, you should have a video camera. You can try to hit that and see if you can
Yeah.
share your video.
Tell you what, I didn't have that bottom. It just left. I need to bring that back up. There was there we go. Start.
All
There we
right.
go.
Ah,
Watch out! Watch out! Watch out!
don't touch anything.
Well, I'm trying not to, but I've got this Zoom page that's sitting up here
Yep.
on top of everything.
Mhm. Well, we can see you.
Okay.
But he can't see us probably. That's right, what it is.
Yeah.
Well, no, I've got you. It's this extra page that's sitting up here. Hold on.
Okay. We're gonna let you work with that. We're gonna let you
I
work
got
with
rid
that.
of it. I've successfully gotten rid of it. So.
Wonderful,
All
wonderful,
right.
wonderful. So all our experts are here. So let me get started. I appreciate you so much. We had a good amount of registration, and a percentage of those registrations usually show up. So I'm happy with the turnout so far. Maybe a few more people will come in because it'll give us an opportunity to flow comfortably and for people to get their questions in. And because 2 hours goes very, very fast, okay? And welcome to an Expert for January 9th, 2025. And we're jumping it off right. This is sponsored by Shopping Black Chicago, our new business directory, where Chicago shops first, a division of Chicago's Black Business Network. Some of you know me and some of you don't. So at the end of this, I'll talk about Chicago's Black Business Network and how it started. I'm Sonia Cassandra Purdue, and you can find us on shoppingblackchicago.com. Once again, I want to thank you for joining us. You know, Chicago is popping. Troy is from Indianapolis, right, Troy? Oh, sorry.
No, I'm from Chicago. I'm just currently in Indy at the moment.
Oh, you just currently in there.
Mhm.
Okay, okay. But Chicago's popping. And there's so much going on, so much going on, so much opportunity. I mean, you can find something to do everywhere, everywhere. And what you desire, what is it you desire? Decide what you desire. And that's part of the reason why I do this. What you should expect this evening to engage with industry specialists, and I put their names in the chat as a reminder, and to walk away with some new information. We're sitting in the room where normally we may never meet these people, and it's one of the reasons why I chose different industries. because a lot of people want to hang with like kinds and like people who think like them. But in order to get, and according to my philosophy, and Troy can help us with this a little bit, in order to be motivated a little bit more, in order to be creative, more creative, in order to generate new ideas, you got to hear different voices. You can't listen to the same thing over and over again. Uh, Someone from another industry may trigger something that will affect your industry and what you're doing and what you're trying to learn, or something that you never thought of. Um, I think it was Zig Ziglar. He's a real famous speaker, motivational speaker. And I think he used the example of his wife cooking, baking a cake. If no one had ever mentioned the word chocolate cake to her, she probably would have never thought about going and making a chocolate cake or a red velvet cake or whatever, a 7-Up cake, whatever it is. If the idea would not have crossed her mind. Okay. So we want to generate some ideas. We want to trigger something in you. I'm here to learn, and I hope that's why you're here. Being in a room with people of diverse backgrounds, as I said before, can trigger. Listening to different perspectives can ignite the creativity in you. I always write this stuff down, I never read it. So let me take a few minutes to tell you about our host. I'm going to turn the controls over to him, Kelvin Young. Now, Kevin is a retired military man with experience in many aspects of the Army, and I won't try to go into that with you because I know nothing about the Army, but I'm gonna let him share that with you because we may have some military people on here who may want to connect with him. I got some more people coming in, and he's also has expertise in drone technology and urban farming, and he heads up those programs at this time at Entrepreneurs Academy here in Chicago. And I'll place their contact information in their classes in the chat room as well. Got some more people coming in. Kelvin is a visionary. I have taken the drone class, 2 drone classes. I have someone taking the urban farming class. It's kind of hot out there for me, but I've done both of them. Okay. And we want to open the doors for all of you who would like to participate in those things to do so as well. So I'm going to turn the floor over to you, Calvin. I'm going to do the chat room and see if I can keep Mr. Walcott with us. And I'm going to give you the controls and turn it over to you, Calvin. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Sonia, is this evening being recorded?
It was supposed to be automatic, and you did not hear it, did you?
No, ma'am.
I didn't hear it either. Okay, let me go check this out. Oh, it says record up here. I see the little red record light.
Okay, awesome.
Okay.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for being here and taking out the time to be part of this significant gathering hosted by Chicago Black Business Network. My name is Calvin Young, and I am just honored to co-host this event alongside the incredible Sonia Perdue. Thank you. Tonight, we come together as leaders, visionaries, and change makers to share ideas, insights, and inspirations. The Chicago Black Business Network has always been a space for collaboration and empowerment. I believe this is my second time on the show. Your voices and contributions as leaders in our community are just invaluable. And we're here to amplify your voice. Together, we're shaping not just businesses, but your legacy. So as we proceed this evening, I encourage everyone to engage, listen actively, and participate during the opening and sharing and Q&A sessions. Let's make this an evening of transformation and connection. A little bit about myself. By way of an introduction, I am deeply involved in 2 key areas that I'm very, very, very passionate about. It's drone technology, urban farming, primarily through my work at Entrepreneurs Academy. And as Sonia Perdue alluded to, I am a veteran, 23 years, U.S. Army. I retired as the executive director for the Illinois Army and Air Force National Guard. One of the only Black officers running the association. So I'm very proud of what I've done. These fields have allowed me to merge innovation and community empowerment. So I'm very, very passionate about creating pathways for success in these spaces, especially in our brown and Black communities. Later in the program, I'll be happy to elaborate more on these initiatives. But tonight, it's really not about me. Ms. Perdue has outlined our agenda for tonight. So I'm going to do my best to stay on track. Otherwise, Sonia will be sending me crazy emojis. So we'll stay on track to maximize our time together. Let's ensure our questions are saved for our designated Q&A sessions. To start off, it is my pleasure to introduce our first speaker. Her name is Miss Sandra Washington, and I'll give you a little bit background, and she will tell you all about the wonderful things that she's doing. Sandra is the founder of Medi Helps LLC Foundation, a 501c nonprofit organization. An international speaker, Forbes Black member, a recipient of the 2024 Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award, Sandra has dedicated her career to empowering patients by educating them on the importance of using their voices in healthcare. With her deep expertise and passion for addressing healthcare inequities, Sandra is what we call a beacon of hope in transforming systematic challenges in our healthcare system. So now, I introduce you to Miss Sandra Washington. Sandra, could you please tell us a little bit more about yourself and the amazing things that you're doing?
I most
Sandra.
certainly can. And good evening, and hopefully you can hear me quite well. A good evening. My name again is Sandra L. Washington. I am, as you stated, the owner of Medi Helps LLC and Chom's Medi Helps. So you basically can call me all things healthcare. I'm into everything. I'm into making sure that we have the items that we need and the resources that we need within our community in order to make it a go. When it comes down to speaking on Chicago Black Business Network this evening, what I would like to say is this: we are business owners, we're building legacies, we're doing everything that we should be doing, whether we're building it for ourselves or whether we're building it for our children. But we're building, right? When we build, a lot of times in the beginning stages, whether we're talking to a financial advisor, whether we're talking to a real estate agent, the last thing that we think about is our healthcare, which actually it should be the first thing we think about. We've had so many incidences where we've had emergencies come up, take COVID, even look at the, what's going on now in California. We can't wait until we get sick to say, oh, I have the forms. There are 5 forms that each state should have. Patients in each state should have hope of when they get sick or even proactively before they get sick. And many of us don't know what those forms are. And many of us, we know what they are, but they're not filled out. Why is that? Because emergency health situations don't give you notice that they're coming. They don't land on your desk and say, here I am, now prepare for me. We should be preparing ahead of time for emergency situations, which is why you need to know, and you need to actually reach out to me and say, you know what, Sandra, can we talk about this? What forms do I need? I'm getting ready to buy a house. Can you tell me what I need to be, as far as healthcare, can you tell me what I need to do? Can you help me get my affairs in order so that emergency situation comes up, you're not losing your house, you're not losing your business because you didn't think, you didn't even take, no one's telling you, think ahead of time and think proactively about your health. So you're waiting until the last minute to consider thinking about your health, when in actuality, you shouldn't. All your major things that you do in life, you're, like I said, buying a house, building a business. When you're seeing a financial advisor, you're seeing a wealth advisor, you're seeing a real estate person, you should also be having an advocate at your side to say, hey, okay, all these papers are right, you got them together. Now let's put them somewhere where someone can reach them. We lost a huge part of our population during COVID, not so much due to COVID, but due to underlying conditions that we didn't know about because we didn't take the time to write it down and make it clear. So you were showing up at the hospital by yourself or a doctor's office by yourself. You couldn't talk because you were sick. Let's get our affairs, our health affairs in order ahead of time. Let's stop waiting until, after to actually get our health affairs in order. I will tell you right now, all of us, every last one of us that are on this call, whether we are a proactive patient, meaning we're doing things ahead of time so that when that emergency comes up, we're prepared, whether we are a retroactive patient, meaning that, okay, well, I hear you, but I'll do that when it happens, or whether we are an active patient, meaning that we're actively right now seeing a doctor, seeing a medical provider, doing something with medical, and we're an active patient. So all of us, every last one of us are going to go through this earth, go through this life's journey with being a patient at one time or another. Why not make it easy on yourself and have someone like me in your corner helping you and assisting you? I won't tell you what to pick, but I'll tell you what you should look for and help you make the best decision. But I wouldn't tell you what to pick because that decision is yours. But what I'm saying to you tonight is this. Get your affairs in order. Get your health affairs in order before you go buy a house. If you have a house now, say, hey, you know what, Sandra said there's 5 forms. Let me reach out to her and see what forms they are. Your POA, your power of attorney, is only good while you're living. So thank you so much for listening to me. I so appreciate you.
Miss Sandra Washington, I'm very grateful to have you here today. I've got a few follow-up questions if you don't mind.
Okay.
In your work addressing these healthcare inequities, what specific challenges do you see impacting our Black and Brown communities? And how can we collectively address these disparities?
What I do see is going back to what I just said. Our community doesn't have the papers. We don't have anything written down. I've actually developed a healthcare journal. It could be purchased off my website. But we don't write anything down. You don't even have to purchase my journal. You could go to the dollar store and get a $1.25 journal and write things down. You don't write it down. We don't take good notes of anything, including our health. So the largest inequity is coming about because we don't do those things that we're supposed to do. And as I say to everyone I speak to, ain't nobody coming to save us. You think they're coming to save us? There's not a soul coming to save us. And in these next 4 years, we got to get it together. We don't have a choice.
Yeah, those are some really key points. And I think having a more educated community, are there programs out there that we could utilize or share with our communities that are thought of as being left behind into learning more about all the different programs? Because I agree with you. I believe healthcare should be at the top of the list when addressing an individual's need. Are there programs that we could look at for like finding more education about healthcare?
That's exactly what Charms MediHelps does. We actually go out into the community. We speak, someone will call me and say, hey, Sandra, are you free this day? We would love to have you come out and speak to us. That's why we started Charms MediHelps, because we saw that need. And, all of us are not, we live in different states. And so it really depends on what state you live in. A real quick plug. One of the things that you may want to do is this year, every year during Black History Month, we host a daily social media event where we bring together the best of the best, and they come to you and they speak on those things that you might want to have a question on. They do speak to those things. So that's exactly what Charms MediHelps is all about, is educating our community, making sure patients are educated, empowered, and engaged.
Love it, love it, love it. We've got one question from the audience. Ms. Tina Rose wants to know, how can we better educate others about getting a trust and protecting property for our children? I don't know if that's in your wheelhouse or not, but Tina wants to know if you could share where can we find more information about that.
It is. And thank you, Tina, for asking that question, because most of us stop at, okay, I have a power of attorney and I have a HIPAA. They have no idea about what a trust is, which is why you need to have a self-advocate, which is, once again, one of those things that Charms MediHelp speaks to, is educating people about getting a trust. That's the best thing for you to have when it comes down to the financial piece, is actually having a trust, having a trust, and also having a will, and not just having it, but understanding why you have it, and understanding, it's important for you to keep it where people can see it.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey, to get through all the speakers, we're going to move on to the next speaker, Sandra. I really appreciate your time. And if we have more questions, we'll circle back after we get through all the speakers. Again,
That is
thank you.
good.
All right. Our next speaker, widely known as the strategy hacker. I'm very proud to introduce Troy Sandich. With over 15 years of experience, Troy has generated over $175 million in industry for clients worldwide. He is an accomplished growth marketing strategist, keynote speaker, and host of the award-winning podcast, I Digress. Troy's expertise lies in creating sustainable and profitable strategies for businesses, making him just a powerhouse in the world of marketing and strategy. I now welcome you, Troy, to captivate us with your knowledge and energy. Mr. Troy Sandich, thank you.
What's going on, everybody? Sending y'all positive energy, light, abundance for 2025. I know there is a lot going on externally, internally. So for you all to come here, I just want to create space and take space to acknowledge there's a lot happening. So the least I can do is distract you and maybe give you a nugget or two to help you grow your business or whatever you're doing in your life. It's already been said about my bio, so I will not bore you with any more details about me. You can at me at FindTroy, go to findtroy.com to learn more. I won't spare you with that. One thing I've been realizing as I help a lot of businesses from 2024 as we transition to 2025 is that they're still stuck in the awareness phase of their business, whether they are a startup, an entrepreneur, small business, a nonprofit. Doesn't matter what industry, doesn't matter what phase. Maybe you've been in business for a long time. You can find yourself in seasons where you're stuck in awareness. What do I mean by awareness? Troy, I'm posting on content on LinkedIn, or I'm trying to post content on Instagram stories and reels. Maybe I'm not posting and I should, and I feel guilty about it. And I say I'm going to make a New Year's resolution every year, then I don't do it and wondering what's happening. Why is no one going to my website? I put so much money into this website, did all these different things. And may I remind you, in many cases, it's not the act of doing, it's being productive. Let's not get lost in the busyness of marketing. Let's be productive in our marketing. And this sometimes where a third party person or just people around you can help you strategize what's actually working and what's not. We take accountability in our own personal lives. Let's take accountability in our business endeavors. What worked in 2024? I know sometimes we don't want to look backwards and have a line item sheet of what I spent at the grocery store, what I spent at the mall, what I spent my Shein cart, Amazon cart. You get the analogy, but let's take accountability of what are we seeing? What is working? What's not working? How many people that we don't know followed us or engaged with us on LinkedIn or whatever social media platform you may be on that isn't family, that isn't church, that isn't your intermediate community that bought from your product or service or inquired? I always find if it's too quiet out there and ain't nobody reaching out to you without you pushing something, we got to reset how we're positioning ourselves in the marketplace. Are we speaking to the right people? Are we talking the right times? Are we speaking the right language that makes sense? I use this example all the time, and it's funny and silly, but it's true. In most cases, if I were just to start speaking in Swahili, but when I spoke in Swahili, I gave you the exact formula strategy you need to add additional $500,000 in your business, it wouldn't matter to you because you don't understand what I'm saying. It doesn't matter how many times I say it. Doesn't matter if I write it in Swahili. Doesn't matter. Unless you understood Swahili, you will not see the value of it. And most times we have to get out of our own head of, I'm doing all the things in my business. or in my initiative or on my job or whatever the application you want to apply to, but it's not translating. This is where we have to take pause and saying, how am I communicating externally? Because sometimes, maybe this is just me, maybe for just me, but sometimes when you read something, you hear it in your mind, in your voice, and how you interpreted that message. But have you asked somebody, how do I look online? Does my business make sense? Would you buy that product? When's the last time I tried to pitch to someone I don't know? What's the value of what I'm trying to do? Whether it's materialized yet or still in vision phase. So to break out of that, we got to get out of the awareness phase. We got to align interest and attention. We have to drive conversations. And I would also say this too. You either meet the demand of the marketplace or you make the demand. And most people fail in business because they think they can make the demand. And that's very hard to do. But if you meet the demand of where the sectors are that align with your business and what you're trying to do, we can start getting, because my goal is I need to make you money. You need to make money. It's not enough to say I have a business and in 3 years' time, I don't have the business no more. But I had the vision and the dream, but the whole world was fighting against me. It's already enough being a Black business. And we already have external problems with that. But how do we position ourselves to do that? So bring it on home. To do this, you have to get out of your comfort zone. I know that's very hard to do, but if you're in business, you're a part of a business, you try to start a business, it's part of the process to do that, and create the relationship barrier to build advocates. If I can create an advocate for everyone who buys my product or buys my service or even is aware of me, that gives me a higher percentage of conversions and longevity than I would have before. Now, people don't associate that sometimes with marketing. They only associate social media with marketing, but marketing is how you present and how you manage your perception of yourself to everyone else and then to your ideal individuals. So if you lean in on that, by all means, that would help you out. I'll cut it short, and that's what I'll have to say. I do have a whole presentation for free. If you want it, I'll send it to you. It goes really deep in depth on that, and you can sit and marinate it with slides and all that stuff, but be more than happy to answer any questions that you may have now or down the road.
Troy, thank you. Thank you so much. This is exactly the things that a lot of the startup businesses that I work with. I've got a question for you. So you talked about productivity. How can I, as a small business owner, differentiate if I'm being busy or if it's productive based on my goals of the business? Is there a way to differentiate the two?
It's a phenomenal question, and sometimes people don't like the answer or the process involved. I like to put quantitative timelines on it. That just makes you more accountable and real. If the goal is making money, have you made money in the last 30, 60, or 90 days? How much? And if you felt that little tightness in your chest, don't ask for that again. Well, we got to reevaluate what you're doing. You're not doing the right things. Maybe that's not money. Maybe it's, have I seen a higher engagement? Have I seen more conversations? Have I even had the opportunity to pitch myself in other areas? If it's zero or not where you want it to be, from the quantitative, now we need to go backwards. What are the action steps you're doing? And so that could be as simple as, I've spent too much time in my emails and not enough time going to events, pitching myself, reaching out, whether that's cold outreach, whatever the case might be, to create the vacuum to drive more leads and more conversations in. Sometimes we get stuck in the busy work because someone be afraid of the necessary. We know what we need to do, but we may be afraid to do that to drive that productivity. And so sometimes we can't associate busy work with outcomes. If we separate that, that's the difference between a 9-to-5 and entrepreneurship or business journey. It's not the same. You have to do what's moving the needle forward with the KPIs that you've given, or if you haven't defined those KPIs, which are key performance indicators for yourself and your business, you need to map that out and then justify what actions align with that.
Beautiful. Thank you, Troy. So we're going to open up. Are there any questions? Anyone? You can raise your hand, as Miss Sonia suggested in the chat. Please feel free. We promise to make this interactive, where we're just not talking. We hope that we can get some questions out of you all.
Can I speak or?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. My name is Queen Mother Mayata. I'm an I teach the laws of energy. But one thing I want to say with the two speakers is very great. There's a health advocacy video that I would like to share, and just for anyone who wants to go look at it, and I can put that in the chat. But also with Troy, just giving you this energy, the physics of energy, how you use your energy. It takes more energy to start, stop, or change directions. Okay, that's just physics. Okay, so I want you. I shouldn't say I want you. I'm speaking as if I am an expert, but I pay attention to the platform. So that's very important. That if you're out there, there are rules to how you use your energy, and to make sure that it is quantitative, that when you start something, you're going to have to put a lot more energy before you get into that constant motion of moving it. So just be aware of that, or even change direction. So you're just going to have to do more. So I just want to add that to the process. I can talk about forces and everything, but it won't get deep, but it'd be good. Okay. It'd be good. Okay. So I just hold off because there's something Spirit telling me to do, but I just hold off. It's a little quick exercise that I think you enjoy. So I just hold off on that. Okay.
That's great. Queen Mother Miata, thank you for that.
Mother
Miata, I would love to learn more about that. Troy, we've got, I guess, two questions. One, I did see your book, if you can plug that real quickly. And then what advice this is from Destiny Kearney. What advice do you have for someone just starting out, I guess, in starting up a new business?
Yes, the book behind me, wrote it. Can't believe I did it. See, Mom, I can write a book. I told you I was going to do it in a minute. That was the running joke I had. And in spite of her, I finished it. So I'd be more than you can find it on findtro.com anyway. But to ask your question, advice for starting off, I feel like I'm emulating, it is a lot of energy. I feel like I've started up a few times. And I've had a lot of startups do it too. And I think I have a framework for it if it'd be helpful. And it's called Clover: clarity, leverage, optimization, vision, value, execution, and results. Many times when people start out, they have the vision of what they want. They can see it, they can taste it, they can manifest it. And I'm a big, vivid visualizer, so that is a struggle for me. I can see the future just as I see the present in my mind, but they don't have clarity on what the steps are. How do I move that forward to get to that position for the vision? And so that's a critical component, and being clear of how much money do I need to get started? What technology and tools do I need? How much runway? Could I do this on my own to save money? Or should I bring in someone else to support and help me do this thing? What are the other particulars? What if it doesn't work? How much time do I allot myself before, as the other person echoed so eloquently, before I have to switch energy and either pivot, change, or decline and move into a whole different space of direction? I think sometimes we want to get more romanticized in the vision and the impact so badly that we don't realize also there's risk involved, that if we don't have the right infrastructure in place, it could deplete us. So from that clarity going to leverage, one of the biggest things as Black entrepreneurs, Black leaders, and Black people in general in the business space, we don't do enough is leverage other people. We think it's insulting. We think people will judge us if we don't say we did it all by ourselves. When the keys to the kingdom, to the very money we need to fund our business, is a phone call away. We just got to find the right person to call, prove our case. And oh, good gracious, $50,000 just been given to us. So it's just some things to think about: clarity, leverage, optimization, vision, value, execution, and results.
That's beautiful. Before we move to the next speaker, Troy, my final question for now is, so if any of the folks on the call today, they wanted to consult with you, what are your fees? And is there a link you can share? I think you already did, that they can go to set up some one-on-one time with you.
As a marketer would say, that always depends. But I am a person who is a giver first, so feel free to book a time and we can discuss that. I would say my range is typically between 2,500 to 25,000, typically depending on your needs, ability, and how much you want me involved, whether in a fractional capacity, just a strategist, or whatever thing I'm pretty wild variety of components. The last thing I'd say is don't be afraid of you never know what may come out of a call. I have a giver's heart. So even if you're like, I don't have the money to pay, you never know what can be had, what can be connected. I'd rather you just see what happens and let's see if we can get you on the pathway to help you create your vision into reality.
Again, Troy, thanks. And we will, for all speakers, we'll circle back around. If anyone had any follow-up questions, we'll have a segment opening the floor for any follow-up. But finally, we have Battalion Chief DeKalb Walcott, whose remarkable career with the Chicago Fire Department spans over 3 decades. Rising through the ranks, becoming the battalion chief, DeKalb has made significant contribution to safety, public education, and historical preservation. His passion for mentoring and preserving the legacy of African-American firefighters through the African-American Firefighters Museum is both inspiring and impactful. I now welcome you, Mr. DeKalb, or Chief DeKalb Walcott. Welcome.
Thank you. And greetings to everyone participating here. I don't know, I'm kind of in awe of the folks that have come before me. So I hope I match your spirit. My name is DeKalb Walcott. I'm the publisher I created a publishing company called Black Heroes of Fire. I don't think anything's ever been utilized that boldly in the fire service, considering the interactions we have with a number of different nationalities and so on. But I decided to do that for a number of reasons after I retired from the fire service. The 2 books that I wrote were volumes 1 and 2 of Black Heroes of Fire. The first one was Engine 21. The second one was Engine 21, 100 Years of Public Service. I talk about a group of Black men who were the inventors of the firehouse sliding pole. Same group of men were known for putting out fires, making rescues. And it really tells Chicago's Black history of the fire service. The same group was responsible for the invention of the firehouse sliding pole. Now, really, I learned about this about 1980, right after the Chicago fire strike that we had here in Chicago to get better wages and so on. Once I found out about it, I was in awe, but at the same time, I questioned whether it was valid or not. Group of Black men inventing the firehouse sliding pole. I don't know about that one. I got to do a little work and do a little research. Well, after doing my research, I come to find out that that was a very valid information that was shared with me. Give him his credit. He's passed away since, Alan Williams. He and his dad, both firemen. His dad was at one time one of the highest ranking Blacks on the fire department, mid 70s, late 60s. Edwin Williams was the first deputy. So being a fireman is, you have to be brave, you have to be strong, you have to be committed. Those are just some of the short terms that I could use. But those members that came on, Chicago's first Black fire company was established December 21st, 1872 here in Chicago at 47 Eldridge Court. 47 Eldridge Court is located on 9th Street between State Street and Wabash Avenue underneath the L tracks there. So obviously they no longer use that address because it's more of an alleyway now than anything. But this Black fire company was established by the great Mayor Joseph Medill as well as John Jones. They were both instrumental in getting Engine 21 established in Chicago. Now, need I say that times then were no different than they are now. Very difficult to make progress and headway, particularly when people look down on you and considered you to be less than. But these brave Black men were, I call them Life givers and life savers. I got that from Professor Christopher Reed. These gentlemen, they obviously, most if not all of them were ex-slaves as well as Civil War veterans. And both allowed them to become brave men. Today we have a sizable number of women in the fire service. I get a lot of questions a lot of times. Why don't you ever talk about the females? That's not what this story is about. It's about these men who were the first paid black firemen in the nation. The book that I wrote, Engine 21, as well as 1 and 2, are the only books in the market on this subject. I try to utilize that being first and encourage other departments to write about their history. You would be surprised some of the things that I've learned. We know for a fact that children between 1700 and 1900 were chimney sweeps in Great Britain. No masks. They were hoisted down in a small compartmentalized area, and on their way down the chimney, they brushed the sides of the chimney to get rid of the creosote. Well, many of these young people never lived to be past teenage years. So as a result, after 200 years, it was time, I think it was time, to outlaw the use of children. Slaves were firemen. You know, you don't see us participating with the Bucket Brigade when you see little stories about firemen back in the day. We're not included in that. So it was a compelling, it was very compelling for me to make it a point to write about our history. Engine 21, as I said, they were known for making rescues. They were known for the invention of firehouse light pole. Story went like this. All we have really in reference to this story is an oral story, but that oral story was passed on by Alan Williams and his father, who collected a lot of these pictures and information, Chief Williams. Engine 21 had to be better, period. To survive the times, the environment that they were in, these people did not want them there. The citizens did not want them there. The firemen did not want them there. The police and fire board did not want them there. It wasn't until after the Great Chicago Fire that Mayor Medill and John Jones established the fact that they were going to, through an executive order, establish Engine 21 as a first original black fire company. There were 2 whites, Captain David Kenyon, and there was a Henry Prethybridge, who was the engineer, the assistant foreman, and the 6 black firemen. Those were the black members of the company who did all of the work and put out most of the fires. Engine 21, just commendable to for them to have survived those times. 1877 came around. There was a gentleman named George Reed, and standing in the hayloft, stacking hay, an alarm came in. Instead of taking the stairs, he slid this diagonal pole that was led from the ground floor up to the hayloft space. He slid the pole, attached the horses. When the other members came down, he was ready to go. They asked him when they came back from the run, they said, "How'd you get down so fast?" He said, "I slid the pole." David Kenyon, being a carpenter at one time, decided to cut a hole in the floor, attach a 3-inch round wooden pole that was of Georgia pine that these members bought and made, put a hole in the floor, ran the pole up through the floor, and that's how these members got down to the apparatus floor. Now, there were many jokes that were told about them, particularly because they were black in one case. In another case, they were jokes about their pole. But what came to pass was the fact that Engine 21 beat everyone else into the fires that the alarms that they responded to. So, as a result, this idea took a hold. It didn't take long. what you have to understand is because these were the beginning stages of firefighting changes that were being made in the system. Bad water supply. Instead of wooden hydrants, they had to come up with something different. Obviously, what we use today, larger main size, things like that. But Engine 21 at this time, again, I say they had to be better than everyone else in order to maintain their status in this environment. And so the second book that I wrote lists, I have it over 300 photographs, not all of the same period, of course, but over a 100-year span. I've got at least 80 or so newspaper articles that reflect, that give support to the accomplishments of Engine 21. All this was done by me as a result of finding out about their ingenious invention, but never receiving credit for it. Why did they never make the history book? So I created Black Heroes of Fire to create my own book to honor these men and their fellow cohorts. And that's basically it. Now, let me conclude by saying that today we have what's called the Black Fire Brigade. They're located at 5314 South Wabash. Our numbers are constantly low in this department. We may have about 300 members. What we're interested in doing is bringing young people, 7th and 8th graders, high school students, bringing them on tours by the firehouse, 5349 South Wabash. And we have a Black Firefighters History Museum there and an educational facility on the 2nd floor. The Black Fire Brigade today is training young people to become EMTs, paramedics, and firefighters. And it's really the future of not only Chicago's fire department, but fire departments nationally. You know, we went through this phase of going to court. You know, you didn't hire enough blacks for over, umpteen years. And because it was such a cut and dry case, we were able to win those cases. In the future, that may not be the case. So these young people are excited about this program. You'd be surprised who's who and who wants to be involved in this. If you have a young person you think that would do well in this area, you could bring them down. Sundays around noon are good. You probably don't need an invite for there because they have a study class going on the 2nd floor at that time. But if you want to be interested in bringing tours or young people by, you can get in touch with the Black Fire Brigade online, Facebook. They also have another LinkedIn account, or you can go to their webpage and ask any questions you want. And that basically rounds out my conversation.
Chief Walcott, I really appreciate it. It is touching because I know very little about the history of African-American firefighters in the area, like those in Engine 21. My first question, are there any video or any other media content like that remaking some of these stories? I'm really interested in a lot of this history.
Certainly. I have a webpage where I sell all of my books, or both of my books, www.blackheroesofFire.com. Heroes must be spelled correctly, Hoeroes, Heroes. I apologize. So see how easy that's done. Black Heroes of Fire, I have a webpage. I sell my book and I have more information there. Come down to the Fire Museum. We've got a lot of documentation there. I hope I answered your question.
That did. Mr. Walcott, there is a project you may have heard of on 87th at the Brown Memorial Park.
Yes, Sidney Brown came on the fire department with me. I remember the day he passed away. I'm pretty sure I was at work that day. Sidney Brown was in my class. We started November 16th of 1978. We were called 30-Day Wonders, where we were put out on the street after 30 days. Young people today get at least 6 months of training before they're put out on the street. So for many people, it was a rude awakening. One of my classmates went home on a bus one night when it was below zero at Gage Park Bowling Alley fire at 56th and Western in his gear, and he brought it back the next day and he went back to law school. So it's not for everybody, but it changed my life. It changed my life.
Mr. Walcott, I have to get you in contact with the folks that are running. They're looking at creating an immersive smart park at Brown Memorial Park. They're working on that with some other technologists, and they want to do a farm there. So they asked me to be involved with the project, but I will definitely get you in connection with them. I would love to have you share those stories with the manager of those projects.
Yes, I'm very familiar with those folks that are involved, but if you would troubleshoot that, that would be helpful.
I'm all on it. Hey, Miss Purdue, you want to do a shout out to our sponsor for the night before we go into the follow-up rounds of questions? You're on mute. You're still on mute, Miss Purdue.
I'm like the Kev now. I gotta find the right button. Let me give me
You need a fire chief over there.
just give me a second. I'm looking for the button. Okay. Everybody has been great. It's been great so far. And we want some more questions, and I think there's some more questions over there, Calvin. But I want you to ask the questions. They want to type the questions. I want you to ask the questions so we can be interactive. You know, you read Tina. Tina knows how to speak. You know, I want you to ask the questions, and then when you ask them, I want you to tell us a little bit about your business and what you're doing. Now, Mr. Walker, I want to ask you, what is the training period now for firefighters?
Well, okay, so we're talking EMTs, paramedics, firefighters. In the academy, they go through 3 months of EMS training, and they're required to take a state exam. I'm not sure if that's changed to federal or not, but I'm pretty sure it's a state exam that they take that would qualify them to say they're qualified EMT. Those same people would then go to 3 months of training to become firemen, wearing the gear, running the stairs, dragging hose, leading out hose lines, different things like that. And then after that 6-month period, once they pass that, of course, they're then accepted into a firehouse where the vacancies occur. And they are rookie firemen from day one. Usually the process, you know, fighting fires is different. That's not, you know, like they're all different. Just like you know, if you come up on a sick person, most, you know, all those people are different. They have their own idiosyncrasies, I would say. So it takes a good 5, 6, 7 years to learn the department. Now, when I served, we did fire. There was fire. Matter of fact, I went to 2 or 3 fires a day many times. I worked at 69th and Bell on engine 101 for 3 years, and I transferred to the truck for 3 years. And so we did fires. You know, it became second nature. Today, that's not the case. They're not, you know, firemen today don't have the workload that we had back then. So EMS is really carrying the fire service. So I hope I answered your question.
You did. Now, now that you're here, if you have your notes with you, you have 2 book signings coming up. When are those?
I do not have that information in front of me. I think there's one on the 8th. I have another one scheduled the 15th and the 22nd. And anybody that's interested on the 15th and the 22nd, I'll be at the gallery, African Photoshop. The young man there, Larry DeAntonek, is a retired fireman. He invited me in October. And every time I go, it's just I get a tremendous feedback. My second encounter with him, I met a gentleman who wants to help me take my book and make it into a documentary film, which I'm very grateful for. So that's the address there is 441 East 75th Street at the gallery. We'll be there from 1 to 4 on the 15th as well as the 22nd.
And something that we talked about the other day, you posted a flyer for the call for the fire department in Chicago Heights. And we were talking about what the salaries are. I think starting salary was like 73 or 78,000 for those
Yes.
firefighters. And after, that's off the top of my head, and after 7, 8, and I don't have it here.
Probably 5 or 6 years. Go ahead.
Yeah, after a few years, it was maxing out at 103.
That's right.
And we're talking about people going for those particular type of jobs and not thinking about, and qualified to do it, qualified physically to do it, okay, but not going for these type of jobs. Why do you think that is?
There are really misconceptions of the fire service. There are a number of different reasons. So through my research, I found that I asked a lot of the people that were on the department, how did you find out about the fire department? Many said, my neighbor was a fireman. I have a relative who's a fireman. I knew someone who was a fireman that interested me in the job. I think that it's that's why we today need to establish and utilize the Black Fire Brigade for the program that they have, because they are introducing the fire department to more people than just 1 or 2 individuals. Our numbers have always been horrible. It's always been a low interest in coming on the fire department. It has had a history of racism, non-promotions, so on and so forth. My book discloses a lot of that. But the fire department being a fireman was a lifestyle. I work one day, I'm off 2. If you're a paramedic, I think their schedule is a little bit different. They may have changed it since I left. But the fire department is a lifestyle. And with that being the case, you participate in that arena, you don't have much downtime, because you have things that you have to catch up on when you get off. Sometimes it's EMS training. Sometimes there are other events that are going on. Then the 3rd day, you're back at the firehouse. So some of it, for me, it was an opportunity. Other people knew people in the business, and they were able to come in that way. I got in as a result of affirmative action, of which many of my other friends did as well, because it was well publicized and so on and so forth. But it is a dangerous job, but at the same time, it's not something that the average person can't do. But you have to want to do this job. You have to want to be there. You have to want to participate on these levels that we address society in. It's not easy. You see things you've never seen before. Hell, some of the stories that we tell, most people saying, that's not true, when in fact it was or is. So a lot of it boils down to opportunity, and that's what the Black Fire Brigade is doing right now, providing that opportunity for a lot of young people who never would have had the opportunity, such as myself.
Absolutely. And one of the other things that you mentioned, and I'm sure that we've all talked about with each other and other people, is not seeing the examples. You have other races who can go back and say, well, I'm the 5th generation person in my family who was a cop. Whereas in my family, I can't say that. Okay. Now, if you was to ask about a drug deal, I could tell you that. Or a moonshiner. I'm sorry. I might be able to tell you about that. I'm a 5th generation moonshiner, but I don't have 5 generation of cops in my family, or even 1 generation of firefighters. I was the first member of my family to graduate from college. So I don't have that in my family. And that's not just my family. It's the number's too large that we cannot relate to the firefighters and the people who do those type of jobs and who live those type of lifestyles and who are going to make those, like those guys who are going there to Chicago Heights and get those jobs and who stay will have some stabilization in their life financially. Okay, it's not $1 million, but it's some good change, and they can
I've been
raise
working.
their families, send their children to college, and you know, and live a decent life. So we
I've
don't
been.
have those examples in our family uh, at all. So it's a good thing that the Black Fire Brigade is out there and can be seen and talk to them and say, because people sometimes we don't believe it until we see it. We don't believe that I could be a fireman. You know, no one was talking to us about that. And you know Michael Singer, he grew up with me over there. I grew up in Wentworth Gardens and he lived on Wentworth. As a matter of fact, Patricia, his sister, and I were at Carbondale together. So no one was there telling us you could be a fireman. I don't know how he got into it, you know. Uh, but when he got into it, he brought his brother into it because his brother could see the example then. But we didn't have those examples. No one was coming to us and telling us we were going to be firemen, we were going to be doctors, we were going to be lawyers, we were going to be any of those things. And we were not stupid little kids. We were at the top of our classes in our little grade schools down there, you know. But no one was saying these type of things to us. And I just wanted to point that out that the fire brigade, the job is so huge they can't do it all by themselves because it's a huge job, you know. But I want to thank you, Mr. Walcott, for being with us and sharing that with us.
May I add this one last thing, please?
Sure.
Just I came from the same place that many of you here that are involved in this came from. You know, I was born in 1954. Family never really had much. You know, we didn't realize any advances in society until 63, 64, 69. And so you know, those were growing stages for me. And most of the stuff that you would hear about was, oh, firemen are racist, it's a racist organization, policemen are racist organization. So I think people on the outside looking in say, well, I don't want to do that. I'm not going to do that. But one of the things that I realized was the fact that I recognize the American dream. You know, I've got 31 years under my belt there with, you know, there was a recession. I never felt that. There was a depression. I never felt that because my income did not stop. My son's a second generation fireman. Excellent. That's all I can tell you. Excellent guy. Hard worker. People follow him because of his knowledge base in the area. But I find that many people are still operating off of having nothing. My father was a criminal in the streets. He said, I'm a criminal. I can do jail time. Now, you know, I'm not embarrassed by saying it because I grew up with it, so I comprehended him and why. There were family members killed on our family front porch in Sladen, Mississippi, 1937. Family then relocated to Memphis. But to stay on point here, many people shy away from those areas for fear of whatever that may be. But I found that many people who don't take advantage of opportunities are still living in 1860. The conditions, the slavery, the mentality, the I would rather hustle in the street, not me. You know, I don't want any disability money either. That ain't me. I don't want that. I'll take what I got coming, and whatever I need, I'll just wait till I get the next check. But so we have to collectively reach out to the young people in our communities and encourage them to do more, to give more. You know, becoming a fireman or a policeman should be a second nature. It should be, what did I call it earlier? It's it should be a rite of passage to support your community. That being either supporting it through the police department efforts, you know, hell, if he's a criminal, turn him in. If it was my father, turn him in. I mean, I'm just saying you can't have it both ways. And so, you know, those are my thoughts about that. I'm just grateful. I'm grateful.
Thank you. I'm turning over to you, Kelvin. Do we have any more questions?
I didn't see any more questions. I have a few questions about the drone program, and I'm honored to speak on that because I've got some students in here tonight, and I'm going to put them on the spot. Ms. Siobhan, thank you for joining, which is one of our recent graduates. Ms. Siobhan, if you don't mind, could you please talk about what does Part 107 mean and how do we go about getting to Part 107? And what does that mean for flying a drone?
Well, definitely, there's a 12-week class. The first it's broken down into 2 classes, 6 weeks for the first, so you're getting the introduction of what type of industries that you can participate when you learn how to fly a drone. It's really getting you prepared for the FAA Part 107 if you want to be certified. As Calvin has told us in class, if you want to make 1 penny, you definitely need to be certified. Other than that, you would be a hobbyist, just flying around maybe in your backyard. But to do something as on a professional level, you definitely need the 107 Part 107 FAA exam. So it was very instrumental learning about how to fly the drones. We go out maybe 2 or 3 times so far at the Pullman Center where we have practice flying our drones. So graduation was wonderful. We did our 12 weeks, and we're studying to get our 107 Part 107 exam completed and get our certification and become licensed drone pilots.
Siobhan, thank you a lot. And
You're
just
welcome.
just to add to that,
Yeah.
the drone industry is really booming.
Mhm.
And in a year or two, it will be a $30 billion, $40 billion industry. I don't know what that number is today because it's changing a lot. And there's a lot of appetite for folks flying drones. And no longer are these thought of just being toys. Every single industry is going to touch, if they're not already touching drones, food delivery, medicine delivery, police, fire department. Out in California, they're using drones to look at the spread of fires. Any place that any industry these days are using drones. So if you guys are interested in learning more about drones, sign up for one of my classes at entrepreneursacademy.net, and I'll type it in the chat room here. It's a fun class. Come out, take the class, and learn more about drones. Any questions about drones? Or anything?
Kevin, I've put the links in there for EA's classes, entrepreneursacademy.net drone class. I put the link in there for the drone class.
Okay.
And as a matter of fact, folks, I took the drone classes as well. For the fleet classes, just a 12-week business class. The urban farming link is in there. Is urban farming 12 weeks, Kelvin, or 6 weeks?
No, we've got 2 classes. We've got the urban farming, I think it's 6 weeks. And then we also have a hydroponics course, of which I teach as well. If you want to learn how to grow, I'm growing hibiscus in my house, and I also grow watermelon in my house. Folks are saying, you can't do that, but I'm doing it indoors by way of hydroponics, where you're growing using water and nutrients. So we teach those classes. There's one class on the south side of Chicago at the Health and Wellness Center, 613 East 67th Street. If you're willing to learn about it, please visit our website, sign up. We make it a lot of fun, and you get to design your own at-home urban space, urban garden. So sign up.
Sonia, could you make sure that you put in Mr. Walcott's information concerning the fire department? You gave the address and maybe the name of his books also. Could that be listed?
So
Right,
Mr. Walcott got me working for him now, okay?
Well, Sonia,
You ain't
look,
asked him to do it. You asked me
Sonia,
to
you
do
know
it.
you've been hustling me for the last couple of years. We found out we went to attend Southern Illinois University together and didn't know it. Is that right, Sonia?
I don't know if we were there at the same time. You left in 74. I came in 74, fall of 74.
Okay, well, you knew some of my classmates then.
I
That's what-
did. I did.
Yeah.
I sure
Sonia,
did.
Mrs. Hodges, Sonia's
Yes.
gonna help you out with that. You can always reach out to me. Sonia, would you also provide my phone number, please? That's fine.
And
Yes,
Mr. Walcott, I wanted to let you know, Larry Howard is my,
Yes,
yes, I just was verified. He was the district chief in District 5, I want to say. So
Deputy District Chief.
Deputy, yes, okay,
Very good friend of mine, absolutely. Larry Howard, I know him very well.
awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question for the two things. Mr. Walcott,
DeKalb is fine.
Cap, I already bought your book. Sandra, I already registered for your event site thing. Okay. Kelvin Young, can you do your class online if there's an audience as far as that the urban gardener?
The
And to be done on-
hydroponics, we prefer in-class, hands-on, but we might be depending on the class and what the expectation is. Sure, it's something we're.
Well, can you take on just me learning online? I'm in Atlanta. I'm from Chicago, but I'm in Atlanta, so I want to reach out and just kind of find that out if that's possible.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
wonderful. I get in touch with you.
What's your name, ma'am?
Queen Mother Mayata.
Okay,
Okay.
gotcha.
Yeah.
My sister's in Atlanta. I have friends in Atlanta as well.
It's a cool space. It's a cool space.
Mm-hmm.
I want to share this physics concept with you all. It's real quick, Sonia. Trust me, I don't do long things.
Go ahead.
If you okay, so you can stand up if you want to. If you sitting in your chair, okay, just imagine if you put your chair right there and you can stand on one side of your chair, really doesn't matter. Okay. And your chair is right there and you're standing on one side of your chair. And then you move to the great. I think Siobhan is standing up. I hope she is. Okay. And then you move, the chair stays right there, doesn't move. And then you move from one side of your chair to the other side of your chair. Okay, to the other side, chair doesn't move. I'm going to ask you a question. Did the chair change positions? How many say yes? How many say no?
That's a tricky one. I don't know. I would say the chair didn't move, you moved.
Correct.
Okay, I'm going to say this. If you say yes, you're right. And if you say no, you're right. Okay. And this is how you have to look at things in life. The chair did not change. It's all about the frame of reference. The chair did not change positions relative to the earth. It did change positions relative to you. And I teach that because I always like kids to understand motion, okay? A lot of times, if you're in your same mindset and you're doing what you're doing, that work, your position changed because other people moved. Troy, that should nod your head. Thank you, because you're business. Troy, nod your head. Sonia, this brings me back when I was on Blog Talk Radio with you. Your head, Troy. Your position changed. So you have to be able to always have your energy connected to the sources or whatever you want to do. Okay? Because you have to be aware of how things change, although you have physically doing what you're supposed to, striving, but you have these moving parts around you. So motion does not mean that you have to move for your position relative to whatever you're trying to do change. So always remember that, okay? When you're trying to do something. And I just want to use that to help the business people out, okay? Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Can we, Kelvin, before we leave, we want to be sure that the business owners here have an opportunity to maybe come back and ask Troy some questions, and also to tell us what their business is. Take a minute to tell us what their business is. So can we do that, Kelvin?
Absolutely. We can go around the room and
Okay.
I can pick names if you guys don't mind coming off mute and tell us a little bit about your business. There may be some opportunities within the room here. So I will start, and it's no special order. Michelle James, if you can, if you don't mind coming off mute, tell us a little bit about who you are and a little bit about your business. Michelle, if you can hear us. Now, if Michelle's busy, no worries. We can always come back. Michelle, are you on? Next, we have Arba Cooper. Miss Arba Cooper, are you on?
Yes, I'm here.
If you could tell us a little bit about your business, that would be great. Thank you.
Sure. I've been in marketing since the 90s. I am a digital technologist. And what that means is that marketing has changed over the years, and I have kept on top of it. And so for my clients, I mix and match different technologies to meet their needs. So it could be anything from websites, landing pages, social media, video marketing, and email. So that's what a digital technologist does.
Interesting.
Miss Cooper, thank you so much. Any questions for Miss Cooper?
I've got a open question, not just for her, but is it possible that we may be able to get a list of some reference information for those folks that are involved? I'd love to speak with Queen Mother again. And Mrs. Cooper, she has an interesting conversation as well as Troy. So is that possible?
Absolutely. After the call, we'll try to share. If folks can put their information in the chat, we will disseminate that to the emails. But to keep going, Mr. Derek Peters, do you want to tell us a little bit about your business and who you are? Mr. Derek Peters, can you hear us? If not, I'm going to keep going. Next, we have Dansan Wenger.
Alvin, I'm sorry, I do have a question. In reference to the young lady that says she does the digital training or the digital work. And my question is this: how is that working? How is your work now working with AI?
Because by using AI, I'm actually able to meet more needs of my customers because I'm actually able to be more efficient and handle more customers more expeditiously.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. You guys know AI is everywhere and the ease of use is incredible. But I'm going to keep going. Father Samuel, can you hear us? Father Samuel? What about Finlay Hussein? Next, we've got Hans Fernandez. Hans, can you hear us? James Salzer. I think everyone stepped away to dinner. Marcus Stephen. Mark, John. Or instead of me going through the list, how about anyone wants to volunteer to tell us a little bit about who they are and what their business is? Anyone wants to volunteer?
I volunteer. I want to give somebody else a chance though.
But what about Tina Rose?
I'll give somebody else a chance because I know I will do it.
Hello. Hi. I'm a writer and I was invited by Miss Purdue and I've been enjoying the conversation. So I've been in business before and maybe one day in the future, but right now I don't have a business going on. But this has been a very lovely and inspiring conversation here. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Tina Rose. Next, do we have, I think I saw someone raise their hand. Whoever raised their hand, they can go next.
Destiny Kearney, I saw her hand up.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm actually into fashion reading. Well, I'm actually currently managing a page for someone, a social media manager on Facebook and Instagram. But I'm kind of confused because I do fashion bidding for any person, any fashion house that has a lot of clothes and they don't have the time to do fashion bidding on clothes. And then I go there, get the clothes, and then get someone to help me sometimes. But I actually stopped for some time. And I'm actually focusing on social media management at the moment. And I wanted to learn a cybersecurity course. So that's why I asked that question earlier before now. The advice I needed.
Destiny, I love the accent. Where are you from? And I wasn't clear on the question. Ms. Purdue, did you hear her question?
I wasn't clear. Destiny, could you ask the question again? And she went into hiding. Ask the question
Hello?
again, Destiny.
Okay. The question was when Mr. Troy was saying something and I asked, what advice can you give someone on a field currently, like someone that is just starting a business? What kind of advice do you give the person? And Mr. Troy said I should reach out on YouTube and check his courses that he has put out there. And then he actually answered that question before now.
Hey,
I
Troy.
can add a little value to that
Go ahead.
if that would be helpful.
That would be
And
great.
I would say also, if you aren't, or anyone in the room listening, I would say right now, LinkedIn's a great time. If you avoided it, if you like Instagram my jam, I always say sometimes how you consume is not always the best place to get business. Sometimes you got to be where the business people are to get actual business. So LinkedIn might be a great place to navigate and start building that initiative. To your point, Destiny, I have a really quick acronym for you that might be helpful, and it's called CASH. You need credibility, authority, social proof, and high net worth to create that perception and perspective, as Queen Mother already articulated a little earlier, to position yourself in the right light. Most times when you're starting a new business, or whether it's cybersecurity, AI, marketing, chef, whatever the vertical might be, it still comes down to those four things: credibility, authority, social proof, and high net worth. And it's not about fake it till you make it. I don't believe in that whatsoever. I do believe with everybody, even if you're starting off, you can position yourself to create the perception, to create those doors to open for you. And most times, what I've learned when I talk to in groups like this is why everyone should be in these type of moments. You get to hear words said in other ways that you would have never thought. Them two words were put together. I'm going to use that because now I have a word to articulate what I do. I am living proof. For the longest time, I have abilities, but I never knew how to articulate them. It's not that I'm illiterate. I couldn't articulate the value that I do every day that people would actually pay money for. And hearing how different people speak and communicate allows you the opportunity to put two to two together. And maybe from someone else's perspective, you say you're a cybersecurity expert. Well, someone else might say, hey, I can help you generate 50,000 more dollars in your business while eliminating, $20,000 in tech and operations. Wow, how can you do that? Through cybersecurity protocols. But I didn't know how to articulate that until I was in rooms and settings like this, I can level up and stack my articulation in a better light that people want to say, I will pay for that. So something to think about in your journey. That CASH acronym might help you in that positioning and perspective piece for you.
Well done, well done. Troy, way back in the day, we used to give a lot of networking events. And I lost my screen. But and then we used to give people the opportunity to tell us about their business. And we would go around the whole room. And do you know that probably 50% of the people I couldn't understand what their business was because they could not articulate what they were doing, and I don't even think they understood what business they were in, which has happened to me too. But one point you did make, and I want to come back to that point, and I didn't get to ask that sometimes we're in the wrong business, and we need to discover that. people just go out and make up businesses. And I'm going to go sell this and nobody wants it. You know what I'm saying, Troy?
Goes back to
And
clarity.
it
comes
has
back to
to be a
clarity.
point where you have to, everybody's not supposed to be in business. That's number one. But number two, I'm glad to hear that we are more than ever before talking about being in business and thinking about being in business and having the conversation about being in business. Just like we're having the conversation today about drones and about firefighting and about healthcare advocates, that we don't normally have these conversations. And those are good rooms to be in and good places to be in. And Troy, we want to have you, back again and, work on some other things with you, because you got some good ideas coming and that you threw out there with us. And want to see you again if we can, and want to introduce you to, well, Kelvin's the Entrepreneurs Academy. They host all those different classes. You see in the chat room, but your fit would be the masterclass workshops and those type of things. That's where they do the business finance, the marketing, and the this and the that and the this and the that and the this and the that. Okay, so touch bases with them over there. Okay.
Sonia, we've already made connection. I will talk with Troy more offline.
Hey, cool. Go ahead.
Give him a few workshops over at the academy.
Good.
I do want to actually add something to Sonia, what you just said. On February 4th, our Black History Month event, our actually speaker for that evening, actually that's what he does. He has a program that will actually start with children, but adults can take it as well, that tells you what fields you're good in and what things you should be looking at as far as what what your career path you can go in that will work with your undertakings.
Now, what you say, February the 4th, and who's
February the 4th?
Who's hosting that?
We're hosting at Chalmers-Meady House. We have a Black History Month every year, and every day we have someone different on there. I put the link in the chat.
Okay.
That particular day is all about that particular test that he has.
Okay, I got you.
It just makes you think about is it your calling? Is it your purpose, or what's your passion for business?
Okay. Thank you. Kelvin?
I'm just taking some notes here.
Oh, cool.
Hey, I want to make sure we didn't miss anyone.
I'm here.
Well, I saw Felon come on. Felon, are you there? Did you leave? I want her to say a couple of words about what she does. Maybe she left.
I think she left.
Oh, okay. So did anyone else want to share what they do, or did they have any questions?
I want to share Sonia. Queen Mother Magata.
Okay, you can share one more time, Queen.
I'm giving you my role and what I do. My role, my task is in the renewal and the rebirth of the fundamental spirit, living energy of the Black culture is light. What I do, I help people understand their light and basically eradicate darkness, help them to understand what they're creating, how they're creating, and then shift their energy to create something different. That's what I do, to break through the darkness is a perception. Everything that you want is in front of you. It's about the frequency. Being a former physics teacher, taught the sciences. So that's what I do. I would suggest that everybody, if you just want to peruse, just go to the website and listen to the first 7 episodes of the podcast. We'll put the 7th one on Monday, and that would be a great start. Okay, but it's about knowing thyself, knowing your energy and how it connects to the universe. Everything is connected. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Anyone want to plug an event for the upcoming week or two?
I'll plug it in as many times as I have to because I don't want anyone to miss this dynamic program that we will be running the whole month of February, which is the Charms Medi Helps Healing Through Our Heritage. And the tickets are available on Eventbrite. I put the Eventbrite link in there, and they're $5 per night.
Ms. Washington, I am going to say this to you. I feel the need, all the time for what it is that you do and how much we're lacking in that area. I was having a conversation with someone talking about his medical, the things he's going through medically, and how people misunderstand. The medical field, I've never been in medical, is not an easy field to understand. And we have to interact with this field, and it's so much to it. Okay. The Medicare, the Medicaid, what happens when you get sick, and how easily it is to lose all your wealth being sick. And people miss that big point there, that you could literally lose everything you got by being ill and something, even though you're supposed to take better care of your health, but really is not in your total control. Okay. And people do it every single day, all day, lose everything they got because of their health. Not only because of the medical bills, but because they can no longer generate any income. Boom, income gone, stop, no money coming in the house. It's over. It's
right.
over.
In the business, and if you have a business, it's gone.
That's it.
You didn't prepare.
But
right.
But we're not thinking about it. We just not thinking about it. I mean, tomorrow. I mean, it could happen tomorrow, and we don't hear it, and we don't feel it, and we don't see it, and we're unprepared for it. And Dr. Shabazz was talking about it, and they seem so confused once it happened. Like, how could this happen? But this is the reality of it. It could happen tomorrow, and everything that you've worked for is gone. And by the way, Mr. Walcott, I've never had a check for 31 years. I don't even know how they would feel to have a check every week for 31 years coming into my pocket. I don't know who I would even be if that happened to me. But anyway.
Listen, God has blessed me. So I'm trying to continue to share those blessings, because if I stop, he might stop. So I can't afford for that to happen. So God's been good to me, and I'm grateful, very grateful.
Wonderful. But Ms. Washington, I feel very much that the type of advocacy that you do is extremely important. But, one person at a time, I keep saying, because it's like a lot of people don't hear us. We saying it, but we got to keep on saying it. So I appreciate you.
We don't have time for one patient at a time. We actually have to come together. And every 4 years, we get to this point where we have to come together and we have to push, because healthcare laws and rules change all the time. They change every day, every second. If COVID didn't show us nothing, we need to look at what's going on in California. People are losing their houses, they're losing their lives. They don't have a way out, because no one is thinking about, okay, what do I do in the future? They're being retroactive patients. It's got to stop, especially in our community. It has to stop. So we don't have time for one patient at a time.
I know what you're saying. But and I know what you're saying, but I'm just saying, just anybody, if you can help anybody, because it's like they're not hearing. I don't know what, keep pushing.
Yeah, no. I don't have any choice but to keep being that resource and keep being that research person that people come to. I do everything. I'm a clinical trainer. I'm a researcher. I'm an advocate. You name it, I got my hat, and I'm sitting at those very tables that we've asked for years for them to invite us to. Well, I'm sitting there now. So now you got to answer. Now the community has a voice, and they have a face that's sitting there saying, no, we ain't going for that. No, we ain't going for that. This is what you got to do. 16-year-old, they need to know this, because when they're 18, if they're on Medicaid, they have to come off their parents' insurance. They don't have a choice. They're coming off. So we don't catch them starting at 16. When they get to 18 and they got to go to the doctor or the hospital, whoever, they're lost. Right? So
Mhm.
we got to start with our babies and we got to build that up, and we got to make sure that we're teaching them so that they know, which is why our event every year is well taken, because people need to know, and they come because they need to know. So I thank you for this evening.
Thank you, ma'am, for joining us. Thank you so much. Back to you, Kevin.
Sandra, I think we've covered quite a bit of great things this evening. Are there any questions or parting comments that anyone wants to throw out there before we wrap up today's session? It's been a very eventful and very fruitful evening. Any other questions or comments?
Well, then I'll just sign off. I want to thank everyone for being here. Kevin, I want to thank you for joining me. It's been wonderful. We'll have to do this again. I love these things. I love them. And um, even though a lot of you did not speak, people don't always, they don't, that's not what they always want to do. And that's fine. But you're here and you stayed the entire time. So you're listening, or you're cooking and listening, or you're doing whatever, but you're here. And that's important. But not only do I want you to listen to us, I want you to share some of the things. Think about some of the things that were said today, because we're saying it for a purpose, not for just to lay on the table uh, and just not pay any more attention to it ever, but for you to utilize it, for you to think about it, for you to have a conversation, for you to share it with someone that you know may need that particular information. Now, we will do these. We do these probably every 6 weeks or something. I'm not trying to work that hard, really. I'm old. I'm retired. I'm not trying to work that hard. Okay, so but about every 6 weeks or so, we will do this again, and I want to invite you back to learn, because we'll have different people, different industries, and different things to talk about, and different takeaways for you. There will be a drawing. Yes, I will be giving away 3 $100 restaurant discount cards, and I will draw those, and I'll also give away some hotel savings cards to some of you. So I'll add to that, just as our way of saying thank you so much for spending your time with us this evening. Everybody enjoy the rest of your evening, and I look forward to seeing you again. Appreciate all of you.
Appreciate
Thank
you too. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay. Enjoy the rising. Wonderful. This was great. Love you all. Love
Love
you.
you.
Thank
Love
you.
you.